So for me, we'll get to our predictions, but I want to go through because Nick, you're probably a little bit better on us when it comes to quarterbacks and everything. So you saw the video with him and his release that was I think it was to Bayless, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome, or who else am I missing?
I don't think Rome was in that.
Tyler Scott.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, not Rome. Anyways, it was quick. You saw his footwork. I think his right leg, was ahead of his left. Like those little things there. First of all, were you excited? What can you take away from, I know there's no pads, no pass rush, but the difference between that and what we saw with Fields, it just looked a little smoother and of course faster. So I want to get your take on that real quick before we hop into some predictions.
I hope you guys can't hear my dog right now going nuts. I'm going to go get her in a second, but
no, I can't.
So that's good. So there's like a rabbit or a squirrel outside. I'm telling you right now, but they're warning.
I've been there. I have 3 of them, man. Sometimes they just
get
go
out of the
crazy.
yard,
Yeah.
To me, there's a few things that I've been more impressed with Caleb than I thought I would in terms of just how he carries himself, because there's the maturity aspect of it, that where he's saying the things that we were scared of. Like, it's like, okay, that's not in there. He's gonna be the selfish guy, whatever. But I've seen videos of him working on some of the mechanics of his release, the timing of it, how quick it has to go, how his feet have to match up. Like, he's doing a lot of different things already. And then you see the video that you talked about, and everything is just smooth. It's effortless. Like, the whole motion is. And the other thing too is, like, you look there, he's thick, y'all. Like, he's not like a little dude. I know he's not tall, but he's thick. So you look at, like, in terms of think of baseball, think of golf. Like, you have to get your hips into this too, and you can see everything is working in synchronized. And so to me, it just seems so smooth. And when I hear people that were at Hallis Hall, that were at some of the OTAs and practices, they just said everything just seemed so different when he was on the field. Like, there was a sense of calm. It's like, okay, he's got this, and everything's just as it should be.
Love it.
And it's crazy because he's calm, like you said, Nick, but the expectations are just, you got to think they're pretty high. I feel like everyone that talks nationally and of course in Chicago, I'm trying to be a little bit more skeptical just because we've been high on this team, quite a bit the last few years. You got after the 2018 season, you have Justin Fields and his era where there was some excitement, some real excitement. And then this year it's like, man, if there's any time to really, put all your eggs in the basket, it's right now with this current roster and year 1 and 2. Honestly, it is fun to see. And I think you talked about his stature. Like, there was a picture of him in Rome on the Bears website. I'd probably bring it up, but like, Rome's a pretty big guy. I'm like, Caleb's holding his own. Like you said, like, I know he's 6'1", but man, he just looks a little bit bigger than his frame, I guess, on paper. So, Ficky, I know you love this.
Of course, who doesn't? Like, what Bears fan watches this is not at least somewhat excited about it, right? Like, obviously, this excitement is kind of contained when you step back and know, like, yeah, this is just practice. They don't even have pads on. But, you know, to not be excited would be not for you to not be a fan. So, but I think I want to talk about, you mentioned the high expectations, which I think are very much true, right? From the outside, media, national media, local media. But what I think also is true is that expectations are high for Caleb himself. He sets very high expectations. He talks about that on a couple of interviews he's done, especially like the Pivot podcast, that hour-long one. He definitely talked about some of the expectations he set for himself. So based off what I've kind of viewed of Caleb and how he's presented himself, I think he's the type that sees those high, when he sets those high expectations, that's a challenge that he's excited for, right? So I don't feel like I don't have any concern about like what the outside noise is, because I feel like he's already set such internal goals that the outside stuff is nothing compared to what he wants, right? Like, didn't the man say he wanted 8 Super Bowls or something like that? He's trying to beat Tom Brady, right? You can't get more high of expectations than that, right? And to publicly say that, it's different to have it, but you have the confidence in public on a podcast that has hundreds of thousands of viewers to come out there and say, yeah, I want to be the best to ever do it. That's why I'm not concerned with it. It doesn't mean that's going to happen. We don't know. Time will tell. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but I'm kind of excited that his approach through this whole thing is like, no, I'm going to be that guy along with the help of my teammates, not being selfish, but like, I'm going to make sure that I do everything possible to be the guy that you build a statue in front of the new stadium, wherever it's at. And so I'm excited about that because we haven't had a quarterback like that ever before. And then you tie that in with the talent on film. It's like, wow, thank you, Lovie Smith, because we really lucked into probably the greatest situation, at least in my lifetime, that the Bears have ever had.
Yeah. I think it'll be the real test will come when there's going to be adversity in his rookie season. Could it be very short? Could it be a game or two where there's a rut, or could they start slow? That's where I really want to see kind of what this team is made of. And we kind of saw it last year, but I mean, it is kind of a different group. You have a different guy leading, the team on offense. Caleb Williams, a rookie. So I think that's going to be a fun test to see. But I want to go through, do we have the preseason games already?
I don't think
I have one that has it. I don't know if it's accurate, but I have.
Yeah, I haven't seen like 100%.
I didn't. Yeah.
What are those ones, Nick? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. So Kevin Fishman has a tweet if you want to go search him, but he has Hall of Fame game. Obviously has to be cool. He has it against the Tennessee or against the Houston Texans, which I don't think that could be right because they're playing the Texans week 2.
No, it is. The Hall of Fame game is versus the Texans because I predicted we were going to play the Texans week 1, and people were like, "Oh, but we just played them in the Hall of Fame game," and I'm like, "But that'd be great national TV." But yeah, it's against the Texans. Yeah,
okay,
which is interesting.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, I don't know if that's correct, but I mean, Kevin's a reliable guy. So,
yeah, he wouldn't post it without. I don't think he would, at least. Okay, yeah. So Houston, that's gonna be a fun game. I mean, Hall of Fame, of course. And then you got Buffalo, Cincy, Kansas. I'm just excited. I don't know how much Caleb. I guess we can ask that. You think Caleb's gonna play a decent amount, Nick?
I think he should. Because there's always the threat of like, okay, he could get injured, which I get. But if someone needs reps, it's a rookie. And it's with new teammates. Like everything has to be better timing, and you only get that within live game reps.
Yeah,
I don't think he plays till week 2 though. I don't think he plays the Hall of Fame game. Normally the starting quarterbacks don't play in those ones. And since we have 4 this year, that's an extra one, right? Because there's normally you get 3, right? And I think the Hall of Fame game is an extra one. I can't remember. I know they're trying to get rid of all of them, Goodell's, but
yeah, they should.
Yeah. So, but I think because have that extra one, I think he won't get like his first minutes until the Bills.
I understand why the preseason games there. And I'm excited to see Booker, of course, like that'll be fun to see. Even Karan if he's healthy, but I think I would love to see more joint practices, Nick. I feel like that's a little bit more fun, and you can kind of. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a little bit better than all these preseason games. But wait, so we have 4? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think you have the regular 3. Like normally you get 3 a year, and then that's why if you get the Hall of Fame game, you also get to start your OTAs earlier. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so it's got a positive with it. So
that'll be fun. And of course, Hard Knocks, hopefully, which kind of had a scare earlier today where they said they announced it, but it was from January to like July. So like the off-season version of Hard Knocks. I think it's the Giants are getting it. And I'm honestly pretty excited. Yeah. Like from just a draft room analytic, everything like that. I'm pretty hyped. Nick, how you feel about that?
Well, sorry, just one thing real quick, and I'll talk about that. I just realized this. If you had to pick the 4 like best teams in the AFC, is that who we're playing in the preseason?
Yeah, basically.
It's like
throw in the
regular. We're gonna see some, but is their depth? Does their depth match? I guess
no.
So because I feel like I feel like the Bears actually might be pretty good in that area, and in some of these teams,
it's just funny. It's like,
but yeah,
oh, man.
Can you imagine this stretch like in the regular season somehow?
Well, it's bad enough we have to play the 49ers and Lions on the road back to back. But anyways, in terms of Hard Knocks, like I love it. I mean, as a fan, I gobble all that stuff up. I even watched the Tom Brady roast. I think that's brutal. Good. But it's also think of the positive momentum you get. Hardly ever do people watch Hard Knocks and they're like, man, I hate that team now, or I don't believe in Mike McDaniel or Dan Campbell or whomever. It's like, oh, okay. I think that's good PR because a lot of people think Falus is a lame duck head coach right now.
He's not, dude.
They have all these, views of what the Bears are. This could be good, positive PR. Like most of the time they don't make it negative. So I think it's good to have it.
It's almost never negative. Fans end up just like with the Lions. People started, if that team makes the playoffs and your team isn't in there, people become like the fan of that team. So like
I think,
people
and
are
there's
rooting
just
for the Lions.
There's so many personalities, not even just on the players, but you said the coaches like Flus, I think would be just a fan favorite right away, just nationally. You got hopefully Ryan Poles will probably make some appearances too. I just think the characters, the players, it just seems like this. If they're not going to get it this time, I've said it before. If they don't get it this year, I just don't think the Bears are ever going to get it, because this is just like the perfect timing. I mean, Caleb's a lightning rod as far as eyes, and he's electric. You got Rome Odunze, like you said, Nick. When's the last time we had 2 top 10 picks on the Bears? It's been a while. And then you throw in the quarterback and receiver. There's just a lot of there's just so many positives. And if you're the NFL, I don't see, as far as a cash cow goes and as far as like views, this would be the team if you can nail it down.